It's Wednesday, May 25th, and let's just get some people on here. Today, I have some fun things, including the naming of the kitten and the winner of the ruler and all that good stuff. Also, I have a fabulous interview with Libby Williamson that ties into the show that's right now. And if you haven't watched the show yet, you are really missing the boat. Really missing the boat. I hope that you're all coming along great with your 99 bottles of beer on the wall or 99 petals of flowers on the wall. Margot wrote me and she sent me a picture of something she's working on that's a little bit different, and I can't wait to and it's using flowers, it's got colors and all that, but I mean there's just nothing like a simple flower, right? So my girlfriend went to I think I mentioned this on Monday, to this guild's, there we go. I just went a brain freeze, to their quilt show. And she's my girlfriend that just moved from Grass Valley to there a year ago. When I spoke to you guys about a year ago, I said, my girlfriend's going to move there. Please be kind to her. And they have to come back to California this summer because Dick is going to substitute for a pastor. And then when she comes back, she's going to join the guild. And she took a bunch of pictures. I have to say, the resolution is not quite what I would love, but the quilts are so fabulous that I just thought you need to see these. They're just amazing. So this one I had to keep pretty small, but I thought the layout of this was really interesting. I mean, just the way the outside edge gets jiggled with those stars with spacers on each side. And this is Galactic Explosion by Marilee McWilliam. And I think it was a Missouri Star BOM, she said. So that was kind of fun. And then we have Miss Ruth. I've seen this quilt. And I'm not sure, it didn't get out in one of our newsletters. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but this is just fabulous. And back to the Genesee Valley, Lois is thinking it might be one of the bigger guilds in upstate New York. I mean, just the pictures she sent me were just like, wheesh, could not believe it. So this is by Ruth, and I think it says like over 700 pieces or something like that. I mean, or 7,000 pieces or something just insane. Okay, but then look, I'm so glad Lois got up close. And let's take a look. Look at the quilting, people. I mean, sheesh. It's just, quilting has come so far. It just blows my mind. Oh, but wait, if that's not enough for Ruth, here's another piece of hers. Again, the resolution's a little funky, but fortunately we got a close-up on this. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. Just absolutely beautiful. All right, now this is Karen's, and I believe we were talking about this on Monday. It's Karen Sink, Sink, and I think that's how you say it. It's called Standing Still in Clearwater, Idaho. One of you had mentioned on Monday that at this quilt show you saw the use of neutrals and how important it is to mix them up. And when you said it, I thought this is exactly the quilt that you're talking about. This just takes my breath away. I think she said her husband photographed it too. I believe that's what it said. Look at the border, you guys, just by the chain. I guess she must have just an itty bitty inner border in there. But oh, I love that quilt. A million. Okay, then this is best of show. Again, what do you do with a white quilt? Okay, you can't really photograph it. I love, though, that not to be missed, it's best to show, but Lois gratefully got close-ups. Oh, can I mention one other thing, please? Oh, and this is by Christine Wickett, and I think it's called Buddhist Butte or something. That must be French or something. I don't know. Oh, but let's just say one other thing. It's hand quilted, okay? Hand quilted. And I have to be gently rebuke myself because I always kind of thought nowadays you had to do it on a machine to get a best of show. No, well, guess what? Christine just kind of proved me wrong with that. And also on Monday, I believe I showed Christine's BOM that she did in silk. So that's like flipping awesome. And then this is the kind of thing that just makes you smile. This is a face, and this face is by Linda Trainer, and it says it was from YouTube, and it's called "Gotta Sew." And if you look, if you look at her hair, I see spools in there and all that good stuff. I wanted to show this because I think one of my oh, I've never done that before. Let's see if we can get in there. Yeah. So, anyways, I wanted to end it with the faces because we're gonna have an interview with Libby, and we talk about her faces in the interview too. Libby Williamson show is airing right now, and it is fab. So let's take a look at the video, and then we'll chat. I just had a panic that it's not in here. It is. Hi, Libby Williamson. How are you today?
Hey, Alex. I'm great. How are you doing?
Quite well. I love your show this week. I love everything about it, as I do taking any class you teach wherever you go. Thank you so much for coming with us to Texas. Yeehaw,
Yeah,
right?
that was great. Oh my gosh, it was that place was really fun to film at. The Airbnb on the lake was a treat as
That was
well.
something else, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was
Um,
pretty good.
so here's the thing, Libby. In the show, we go from kind of beginning to intermediate to digging deep, and we'll talk about that in
Sure.
a moment. But I consider you a very serious artist, and yet when you go to teach at places like Kraft Napa and all that, you can bring it down so that the average Joe can get it. How do you do that?
Oh, I guess I love it all. I mean, I love to teach. First of all, I love to teach very much in person and also online. We're all shifting.
Yeah.
Um, and I love to reach all different levels of artists. People that have never ever done anything and they want to take a class with me, I will guide them step by step by step by step so that they have some success. They have a great successful time. And if people want to take my classes and just bounce from there and go kind of in a different direction, that's great with me too. So in my classes, I don't expect everyone to make work that looks like mine or that is copied, but they can if they want. So it's all ranges, and it's just a blast. I love it.
Well, I love bouncing all over with you. I want to show you what I did, or everybody, what I did at Kraft Napa.
I remember that.
I couldn't believe it when those doilies showed up because all of a sudden doilies are in my life like there's no tomorrow,
Oh,
you
you're stitching
know?
on them now. Sure.
Oh,
Yeah, that was called Embracing the Vase or Embrace the Vase class. That was fun.
that
We had
was
such
fun.
a good
The
time.
other thing you have to know too, and maybe I shouldn't say this because now maybe I'll get you in trouble, but you bring everything. Or is that just a Kraft Napa?
No, I try to whenever I teach because I have been a student in classes before, and sometimes the list is very long of different requirements to bring, and there are questions about what brand, what size, what amount, and all that stuff. And sometimes we're just using a small amount of gel medium or something, and not everyone needs to buy a big old expensive jar of gel medium. So I
Right.
bring everything and tons of everything so that it's easy. You just walk in. Usually there might be a supply list, but it's small. You walk in with an art apron, and I provide everything, and including chocolate because
Well,
that's important.
and so in getting ready for this, I asked you and you answered, and I go, okay, well, first it started with Craft Napa. Hopefully you're teaching there
Mhm.
virtually this January, and you got to come up with some new ideas. And I'm like, how do you come up with all these ideas? Because they're just cray.
You know what? Can't answer that because I don't have control of my brain. It just they just come. They percolate from my life. I don't know where. They just come to me. Sometimes not easily, and sometimes I have to work with an idea to refine it so that it could be a successful class for different levels of folks of people. So, but it's fun. I love doing that, and that's kind of what I'm working with in my series work too. Digging down and trying to come up with how does my brain work, because I don't understand it all the time.
And but well, you know what? That's probably the plight of an artist if you want to get right down to it.
Yeah.
Now, one of the segments that we did was on faces, and I'm going to show you a face that I did in. I I think this
I
was,
absolutely love her. So you took it a different way too. So by doing some fussy cutting of all those little icons, the cake pedestals and the little jacks and all that stuff, you made it your own.
and
You
I
did.
didn't know how to finish it until we taped the show, and then like ding 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 ding. But
Yeah.
let's talk about this gal because this was part of the Ukraine auction, which I really wanted, and it got swept out from under me. Tell us about this, please, Libby.
Her name is Hope. She is one of my Wonky Sisters series. And I made her for the auction that Pokey Bolton had orchestrated recently. And I can't, she is a little bit sad, but she's also hopeful. She's just pensive. And I think that as I made her, I was reflecting on all of the world problems and the Ukrainian issue. And so it brought a lot out of me as I made her. And I just love her. And it's going to be really hard to send her away. I still have her here and I have to ship her to her new owner soon. And I will, gladly say goodbye. And she's off to a good home. But her name is Hope. And she's special to me,
And
as
I
they all
guess,
are.
well, I know, and you do. You name your girls, and there's intention with your. I don't know. Have you ever done men? I don't know.
I haven't. No. I
Yeah,
don't know
but
if I will. It could be. I might.
because you asked me immediately, well, who is that? And I go, well, it's Sam. I mean, I just and it's because of the crazy junk I put in her hair, you know.
Yeah. And
Here,
sometimes the names can come to people later. It doesn't, they sometimes have to grow on you. But this was Hope kind of right from the beginning because I knew why I was making her.
and
And
isn't that interesting when you're making something for somebody or for a situation? It really gives you time to reflect and think about the whole thing. I mean, it brings it to a whole nother level, you know?
yeah,
And then I
but
want
that's
to,
one of my favorite classes. So I'll provide, if we look at this in detail, you'll see lots of different scraps of fabric. Those are all over dyed or over painted by me. I'll provide all of the painted fabrics. So we kind of dive right in. It could be, this could be a 3-day class, but in order to shorten it for a 1 day, I bring miles of fabric or provide it in kits that are mailed if it's a remote class. And then we just cut it up and we work with value and all the facial features and try and kind of stretch our imagination and how they might be. They don't have to be anatomically correct. I kind of strive for the opposite of that so that they are just more loose and open.
I don't know, did you see the live that I did the other day where it was the kids in Bolinas Bay that did faces? Um,
I
a,
didn't see it.
a doctor that teaches at Sonoma State went over to Bolinas Bay and they worked with a bunch of kids and the kids did self-portraits and how the faces, it's funny, even though they were wonky, um, the hair might be exactly right or whatever. But the thing that was really cool was that the kids then they put little icons around of the stuff they love. And I
Mhm.
just, you know,
I did see that. I actually now I'm remembering it. Yeah, I saw that.
I
Yes,
loved
and you know
it.
what? I love kids. I love teaching kids. They're gutsy and they don't give a rip.
Rats.
You just dive right in and don't second guess their work. And then as they grow older, then we all kind of get more self conscious and lose our whatever. So that's where in my classes, I kind of bring it all back in. We're little kids again, and we can just make for the joy of making. And then the art will evolve.
Joanne Sharp calls it the second grade art girl. You
Yes.
know? Okay, but now Libby, now you're very involved with Sakwa, and you have got into a very special exhibit I'd like you to tell us about. And you showed how to do this on the show too, as if we could do this.
One of my series is working. I really love working with very odd and unusual materials, fabric plus found objects and things like that. And I have a series that I've been working in lately for probably 5 years or so, involving using different types of rope. This one is all clothesline rope, but I use the rope and I've got to, you'd have to see the show
You have to
to
see
see
the
the
show.
technique,
So,
and that is shown there. So, we talk about how I actually embed the ropes into the layers and layers of fabrics that have been painted. But this piece it's called Terminal Moraine. It's a new piece that will be shown. Actually, the opening is on May 20th.
where?
Um, at the the
Peninsula
Peninsula
Museum?
Museum of Art in San Bruno, California.
And that's the,
And
oh, I didn't realize that was the first showing of that.
it's hung, yes. And so the unique part about this exhibit was we were restricted in size. The pieces all had to be identically 15 wide and 45 inches long, and only had to use one color of the color spectrum. You could choose your color, but you had to be very strict in not entering a smidge of any other color. But you could change your the tones, so you could tint with white, tone it with dark black, or use value changes. And then here you can see some of the measuring tapes and zippers that I
Zippers.
pretty much, yeah, I always embed zippers and measuring tapes in my work. It's kind of one of my things that I like to do.
And
So
and everybody, that show runs through July 26th, but then it's going to go all over the US or world or what?
that show there, yes, runs through I think July 17th or so in at the Peninsula Museum of Art in San Bruno, and then it'll travel like
Okay.
all of the other Sakwa. Well, most of the Sakwa exhibits will travel, and so it'll be at different venues to be announced until December of 2026. I think so,
Whew.
3 or 4 years, 5 years, whatever, 6 years. I don't know whatever that math is, but that show in particular, you can find information on the Sakwa website.
Now, when it got in, did you go, yeah, mama, I'm raising the roof?
I did, of
Yeah.
course, every time. I enter all sorts. We all do. We enter shows. We don't all get in. I've had plenty of rejections, and I don't. I'm fine. I'm fine with it. They're all juried. A jurist might be looking for a specific theme. Well, might be a theme, but they're trying to hang a show that's cohesive, and so
Right,
there might be
right.
a spectacular piece of art that just doesn't fit with that exhibit. Mine might have not been accepted because of that, or it just wasn't up to par. But I do get into some pretty fantastic exhibits, and I'm very proud of that.
And you're located where?
Orange County, California, in
Okay.
Villa Park,
Okay. So
Southern Cal.
so at the beginning of the show, I think it was the beginning. I don't think it was the end. I don't remember the order, but you just recently took a very intensive class. Tell us about that. And I want to take a look at this particular piece
Yeah.
as it was almost like a master's or a doctorate for you, I think you said.
Yes, it was. Jane Dunewald, who we all love dearly, is a master in her own right, and she offers. And this may have been the last of the classes in this series that she did, but it ended up being a 2.5 year art cloth mastery class. A small group of 12 of us traveled to her home studio in San Antonio, and unfortunately, and it was set up to meet. I think we were supposed to meet 4 or 5 different times over the course of these several years. But then, of course, COVID shut us down,
Right.
and we ended up transitioning to an online course, which was wonderful because then we met every single week for months and had more content that Jane could throw at us, and we bonded really well. But during the later half of our exploration, I guess I'll call it that, or our mastery class, this is what I developed. This is one of the pieces that I was working on. And this is the piece that I will say is my master project in that class. I have done a series of work based on archaeological digs. I love grids. I love geology, and my brother was a geologist. So I've got all these kind of ties into the archaeology and geology and stuff like that. So here's a close up of that piece, which is called, it's field notes, but this is called Excavating Truth, and it's the fourth in that series. And you can see here some references to vertical and horizontal lines, which are referencing an archaeological dig and how they are mapped out on the ground using stakes in the ground and rope to cordon off different areas of the terrain. And then, as an archaeologist would dig into that area, they might discover different treasure or surprises. So that really is and that piece is really, really special to me. And I actually am very proud to announce that that piece has been accepted into Quilt Visions 2022, and it will hang in San Diego at the Visions Art Museum in that
That
amazing exhibit.
and this
So,
was, if I recall, you called it a personal archaeological dig. Was everybody basically headed towards doing their own personal?
yes, yeah. We were all working very independently on our own work. It took, there were a group of 12, and we all went completely different ways. And Jane coordinated. She taught us so many different things, a lot of surface design and a lot of theory and color work and dyeing. But we all had our own agendas. So we all worked independently on our own work, what spoke to us. But what an amazing experience. And
And,
yeah,
and
just
and
can't.
you know what else, Libby, that really makes me happy is that you're taking classes. Because when you take classes, and obviously this one stuck with you and you had to reach really
Yeah,
hard inside, but you learn. It's like, okay, now, and then that's how your work ebbs and flows and changes. I mean,
yeah.
so, and that's one of the things I love about taking your classes. I mean, I just love, how do people take a class from you, Libby? When are you
Well,
coming back up?
I will be, my next in person classes will be with Art and Soul Retreat in Portland in October.
Okay.
Online, again, Craft Napa with Pokey Bolton will be next January, although I haven't, we haven't even formulated the curriculum. We don't know what classes are going to be offered and what the whole thing will be, but hopefully I'll be teaching there. I might be teaching at her barn the following spring with a maybe 2 to 4 day intensive workshop with something that I'm developing. And I hope to get some more of my own classes just online, just to be offered, through my own website. So that's to come.
And I
And
want,
also you were talking about me taking classes. I want to say this. This is so exciting for me too. Michael James, you know, like incredible, right? He is offering an independent study that I'm going to be taking through Quilt Symposium QSDS, Quilt Surface Design Symposium in Columbus, Ohio. And I got the very last spot in his independent study class. So I'll be there for 7 days with Michael James, with a small group of 20 of us working on our own, but also collectively critiquing and communing and whatever else comes out of it. But again, it's my chance for a solid week of just focus and making. So I'm really looking forward to that. That'll be great.
and by the way, everybody, if you're not familiar with Michael James, you need to go watch. We did a legend show with him because he really was so pivotal in the beginning of, I think he kind of took quilts into the art world. He was like, it was Nancy Crowe, it was Michael James, it was these different people that kind of shifted
Yeah.
us. And his story is quite remarkable, quite remarkable.
So I'm very, very lucky. They had to beg him to come back and do this one last hurrah. So
Is he
yeah,
retiring or something?
I don't know, making art, I'm sure, but
Well, yeah,
not teaching anymore.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so, yeah, I feel very lucky to have gotten that spot, the seat
Well,
in the class.
Libby, this is what I think about you.
Right back to you. Okay, we're doing it right back.
And I
I
can't
love
wait to,
you to bits bits and pieces.
That's how I feel. Oh, one last thing, not to put you on the spot, but I am. Do you do a newsletter, or how do people follow you and stalk you?
I post. You know what? Here's the thing. I'm an introvert. You will not know that. People don't believe it, and I really am, um, which makes me, I've learned how to, push myself away, out from that. But I really, I'm sometimes reluctant to post a lot of things. I have a site on Instagram and on Facebook. Those are probably my two, favorite social media platforms. I do have a website, and I've got to get it, charged up again.
I'm
So I
sorry, I
really, I
relate
guess,
to you. I get it. I can work on my website or I can make art. I get it.
yeah,
I get
I want to make art. And so I guess the answer to that question though is, I would be posting, um, teaching and class opportunities on social media.
it. Okay.
So follow me on Instagram and Facebook. And then on my website, one of these days, I'll have a schedule.
I hate, don't look at mine. Mine's so old. And do you have a wacky name, or is it Libby Williamson?
Yeah, just me, LibbyWilliamson.com.
Love you.
I
Have
know I
a good
changed it.
day.
I had a wacky name. I had to clean it up. So it's me.com.
Well, you take care, and I so look forward to seeing you soon again.
Thanks, Alex. It's so good to talk with you. Good to see you again, my friend. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely.
Take good. Take care. Bye bye.
I just love her. I just love her spirit and everything. Okay, so you had a couple questions come through. Um, it is SAQA, that's the name of the organization, SAQA, Studio Art Quilters Association. It was started by Yvonne, the late Yvonne Porcella, of which we actually did a legend show on her also. So you're going to want to look that up. Yvonne Porcella. She was battling cancer at the time, and cancer finally won. But she is a treasure for what we are enjoying today. So let's put that out there. So, Carol, thank you for taking care of the SAQA part. Um, Joan, if anybody wants to get hold of me, they get hold of me at ALEXANDRSN at Gmail. Doilies. So I'm making you wait. I just finished this piece made of doilies and bobbin lace that I made in college. Let me get it over this way. So I wanted to share that with you. I think I'm at the end of the whole thing. It was done on an antique linen, the kind that Cindy turned me on to. And then those three dark doilies were actually part of a larger piece that I just cut apart. And I did some button embroidery, super fun. And okay, that bottom piece there going across, that's my lace from college, bobbin lace. The dark brown one going up on the right is what I did. And then the one that looks like macrame on the left, I did too. So I knew if I didn't put them in something, the whole thing just would die. I'm going to do a segment on the quilt show about doing button embroidery because I find it very joyful to do. Before we get to the cat, I want to show you one other thing that I'm really excited about on Friday. I Lilo sent me this interview of with Michael Thorpe, and I know that we have a lot to learn from Michael Thorpe. So, to give you a hint, he's into faces too. It was a beautiful, beautiful piece that we stumbled on, and I intend to use it. All right, with his permission, we got I'm going to say too, the name of the exhibit, this is interesting, something like prisms or color or something. Just now watching this, I'm a slow learner. When we were in Hawaii, Joan Wolfram was jurying a show where it went from one specific size, single colored piece, like her ropes, all the way through the spectrum. And she had to pick X amount out of X amount. And Libby was right. It was really hard for Joan because there might be a piece that she really liked, but it didn't flow with the whole exhibit. So I that's what was going on in the living room in Hawaii on the next to the last day before we left. And of course, Joan, being the jurors, the perfect one because she is a master at color. Okay, also, botte is a French quilting like trapunto. Okay, so I just looked it up, or one of you put it there. It's using yarn instead of batting, so it gets the trapunto effect. So thank you for that information. See, we just keep learning and learning and learning. All right, here we go. Okay, you guys sent in over 2,000 names for baby kitty, okay? And I have just had the worst time. Before we started this, I said, that's it, it's got to be this. But we randomly chose a winner, randomly, all right? And if you are a math school teacher, or were, you're in the running. Oh, and what's this person gonna win? Oh, your ruler just broke. No, I'm kidding. 6 by 12, I'm sorry, 6 by 24 ruler, Quilter Select. If you already have this ruler, we'll work with you to get another size. Okay, so let's see. She was a math teacher. She lives in Paducah, not Kentucky, Paducah, Illinois. And the winner is Susan McCarthy. Yay! Let's hear it for Susan. Woo! Okay. So, the names that I have been
Manuka, M-I-N-O.
Oh, it's Manuka. Well, what the Manuka? Where'd my notes go?
It wasn't written down.
You said it was Paducah.
No, Manuka.
My bad. Manuka, Illinois. You want me to do your brain surgery? Is that something you'd like for me to do for you? Whoops. What? Wait a minute. You want the brain? So here are we have to remember where Kitten came from. She was under a hood of a car for 3 days and lived. She then, when Andy and Robin rescued her, she went inside the wall of their house and up in the ceiling. She is just the sweetest little thing. She follows me around all day. It was kind of hard to get work done this morning. But the names I've been thinking about are Bobbin for Robin. I've been thinking about Libby for Libby Lehman. I've been thinking about Zipper because she just zips around and all that. But yesterday when my daughter was here, this is just fabulous. This is the corner in our kitchen and we have to get our floors redone. And all of a sudden the cat goes there. And I tried to grab her tail and it didn't work. And in she went. And Adair and I just looked at each other and went, oh my gosh. So that solidified the name Heidi, H-I-D-E-E, Heidi. So, and you know, that rolls off my tongue pretty. Another one that came by this morning, ooh, Sage, that's a cute one too. I got to go with a name. Oh, and the other thing is that's what Lennox wanted to call it, was Heidi. When we were all batting all these names around, Heidi. So welcome to the club, Heidi. She was in my sewing room this morning. She follows me. Her favorite place to be in the sewing room is underneath a counter, Heidi, hiding between my Quilter Select bolts of fabric prep because it's so nice and fluffy. So can we live with it? Oh, Kathy. Okay, back to the color trapunto to make the color that you want, the yarn. I think we've done that on TQS. I think we have had a show on that. So Heidi D was Alex. Oh, Heidi, my mom, D was my mom's name too. So it's Heidi. Okay. You'll certainly see more of Heidi. I do not want to become one of those, but it's already started to happen. And I am really excited to share with you Michael's work this Friday. I just sat there with my mouth hanging open watching it. So super cool. He said, yay. Yeah. Okay. So thank you so much for playing along with all that. And if you can ever take a class from Libby, do it. I think the exhibit, I was trying to look on Sakwa on my phone to get the name of it because I realized we kind of missed it a little bit. But it starts airing on the 20th at the Peninsula Museum of Art. So you can find it there. Yeah, her work was extraordinary. And how she did it on the show, you're like going, okay, I love this. I'm never going to do it, but I love this. All right, missed part. This will be posted. More pictures is great. I love Heidi. She's not co-hosting. You know what that sweet little baby does? She sleeps on my neck. She loves us. She is so trusting. I can hold her with belly up and all that. Yeah. So, okay. When Alex finishes, it will be. Oh, Jackie, when this is finished, it will be available for recording. And that's my daughter. She's interviewing for a job. She wins. Bye bye. More on that.